Imagine a single tiny dot. This dot has no size, no depth, no width. It is just a position, a single point in space. This is the simplest possible universe, a zero-dimensional world. Now let's give it a friend. If we connect our dot to another dot, we create a line. This line has length, but nothing else. An inhabitant of this one-dimensional world could only move forward or backward along this single path. They would have no concept of up or down, or left or right. It would be an extraordinarily simple existence, a universe confined to a single endless railway track stretching into infinity. Now let's take that line and add another direction. We'll add width. We now have a flat plane, a two-dimensional world. Think of it like a piece of paper or the screen you are reading this on. A creature living here, a flatlander, could move forwards, backwards, left, and right. They would have a much richer experience, able to explore a surface. However, they would still have no concept of up or down. If you were to look down upon their world from our perspective, you would be a godlike figure, able to see everything at once, the insides of their homes, the contents of their pockets, all laid out like a blueprint. They would be utterly unaware of your higher dimensional gaze. From this flat world, we take another leap. We add the third dimension, depth. We pull our two-dimensional square upwards, stretching it into a cube. This is our world. So, what could a fifth dimension possibly be? If the first three dimensions give us space and the fourth gives us time, a fifth dimension would represent another independent direction of movement. It's a concept that is incredibly difficult for our three-dimensional evolved brains to visualize. Try to point in a direction that is not forward, sideways, or up. You can't. It's like asking the two-dimensional flatlander to point up. The direction simply doesn't exist in their perception of reality. A fifth dimension would be a new axis, completely perpendicular to our known three spatial axes and the axis of time. Let's try to bring this down to Earth. What would a simple, everyday experience be like in a five-dimensional world? Imagine you are in your kitchen making a cup of coffee. In our familiar three-dimensional world, the coffee cup sits on the counter. You can see it's outside its handle, the rim, and the dark surface of the coffee within. To see the bottom of the cup, you have to lift it. To see inside the ceramic itself, you would have to break it. Your perception is limited to the two-dimensional surfaces of the three-dimensional objects around you. You experience this moment at a single point in time, the present. Now let's switch to a five-dimensional perspective. As a five-dimensional being, you wouldn't just see the outside of the coffee cup. You would see all of it, all at once. You would perceive every single point of the cup simultaneously, the outer surface, the inner surface, every molecule of the ceramic, and the bottom of the cup, all without moving it. It would be like having X-ray vision, but for every object from every conceivable angle. So, in a universe with five accessible dimensions, our understanding of physics would need a complete overhaul. The fundamental forces that govern our world, gravity, electromagnetism, and the strong and weak nuclear forces, would behave in profoundly different ways. As mentioned, gravity might appear weaker to us because its influence spreads out across the extra dimensions. This could mean that building towering structures would be easier, and escaping a planet's gravitational pull might require far less energy. The very notion of an orbit, so elegantly described by Newton and Einstein in our four-dimensional spacetime, would become vastly more complex, with objects potentially tracing paths through this higher dimensional space. Movement itself would be utterly transformed. Imagine you are in a locked room. In three-dimensional space, you are trapped. The walls, floor, and ceiling form an impenetrable box. But for a five-dimensional being, this box is no obstacle at all. What would we look like to each other in a five-dimensional world? Our current perception of others is really limited to their two-dimensional surface reflecting light into our eyes. We see a person's skin, their clothes, their facial expressions. We, infer their internal state, their thoughts, their emotions, the functioning of their organs from these external clues. But in a five-dimensional reality, this would be completely different. You wouldn't just see a person's surface. You would perceive their entire physical being all at once. You would see their skeleton, their circulatory system, their nervous system, all functioning in real time. This profound change in perception would have a staggering impact on our senses and emotions. There would be no hiding physical ailments. A doctor could perceive a tumor or a blocked artery as easily as we see a mole on the skin. The possibilities for fun and exploration in a five-dimensional universe are simply mind-boggling. Imagine a game of hide-and-seek where you could hide in another timeline. You could slip into the version of reality from 5 minutes ago where the seeker has already looked in your hiding spot and moved on. Or you could hide in an alternate universe, one where the room you're in has an extra closet that doesn't exist in the main reality. The game would become a contest of navigating the myriad corridors of space-time and probability, a true test of a five-dimensional mind. Architecture and design would be completely liberated from the constraints of three-dimensional physics. A house could have rooms that are bigger on the inside than the outside, a concept straight out of science fiction. You could have a door in your living room that opens into a sun-drenched beach in another reality, your own private portal to a perfect holiday spot. Buildings wouldn't need to be built from the ground up. They could be designed as complete five-dimensional forms and then unfolded into our reality. A city could be a dynamic, shifting landscape of structures that appear and disappear as needed. For all its wondrous possibilities, a five-dimensional existence would also present immense challenges. Our brains are hardwired for 3 spatial dimensions. The sheer amount of sensory information in a five-dimensional world could be overwhelming. Imagine trying to process seeing an object from every angle, through all of its history and across multiple parallel universes all at the same time. It could lead to a form of sensory overload that would be completely debilitating. We might need to evolve new brain structures or develop advanced neural interfaces just to cope with the flood of data and not descend into madness. The loss of privacy would be another profound challenge. In a world where your physical and perhaps even mental state is an open book, the very concept of a private life would vanish. Every mistake, every embarrassing moment, every secret thought could be perceivable to those around you. We may never experience life in 5 dimensions. It may forever remain in the realm of theoretical physics and science fiction, but the very act of contemplating it is a profoundly human endeavor. It pushes the boundaries of our imagination and forces us to look at our own familiar world with fresh eyes. By trying to imagine a 5-dimensional cup of coffee, we gain a deeper appreciation for the remarkable physics that allows our simple 3-dimensional cup to exist. By thinking about higher dimensions, we're reminded of the sheer scale and mystery of the cosmos. These ideas are not just idle speculation. They emerge from our most advanced attempts to understand the fundamental nature of reality. Theories like string theory and M-theory, which require extra dimensions to be mathematically consistent, are our current best efforts to unite the world of the very large, gravity and cosmology, with the world of the very small, quantum mechanics. Whether these theories are correct or not, they demonstrate that science is a journey of continuous discovery, always peering over the edge of what is known into the vast, tantalizing ocean of the unknown. The universe is under no obligation to make sense to us. Our brains evolved to help our ancestors survive on the African savanna, not to comprehend 11-dimensional supergravity. The fact that we can even begin to ask these questions, to use the language of mathematics to describe realities so far removed from our own, is a testament to the power of human curiosity. It is this curiosity that drove us out of the caves, that took us to the moon, and that now leads us to probe the very fabric of space-time itself. It is our greatest tool for exploration. So, the next time you look up at the night sky, don't just see points of light in a dark void. See the 3-dimensional slice of a 4-dimensional space-time, and, allow yourself to wonder if that is just one page in a much larger book. Allow yourself to be filled with a sense of wonder at the possibility that there is more to reality than we can see, more than we can ever hope to perceive. The universe is likely far grander, far stranger, and far more beautiful than we can currently imagine, and there is nothing more exciting than that.